From retro to next gen, we've got it all. I'm George, a Gen X grown-up, and this is Bit by Bit. All right, the first bit up today shows from TimeExtension.com that Atari is releasing a new 7800 plus port of the minor 2049er sequel, Bounty Bob Strikes Back. This goes into a little bit of the history up on this article. They talk about how it was an influential early platforming game created by Bill Hogue and Big Five Software. I know John is a big fan of minor 2049er, and I guess it was originally released in 1982, which I didn't know. And then a little bit later on in 85 is when this sequel, Bounty Bob Strikes Back, was released. Now, interestingly enough, they're going to release this in a full physical form that you can get for $30. It's going to come with a cartridge, a box with the artwork from Cat Hudson, a cartridge sleeve, and a manual. So it's just like you were buying a 7800 cartridge back in the day, and you can pre-order it at the link that's in the article, and they're going to be shipping sometime in the winter of this year, 2024. Sounds like it's going to make a great Christmas gift for a lot of Atari fans. All right, following up our Atari bit news with this thing from the brickfan.com. The LEGO Atari 2600, you guys know and love this set. I'm sure if you're Atari fans, John and I both have these. Actually, John has two. One that he still has in the box from the original purchase. Apparently, Walmart's early Black Friday deals are going on right now until, I guess, Black Friday, coming up this Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. And right now, it's listed for $150, which takes $90 off of the list price. Now, before you go buy it over at Walmart.com, go check out Lego.com, because often they make sure that they have the lower price. But if you don't feel like buying from Lego, and you're comfortable buying from Walmart, they've got shipping if you have that Walmart Plus. Apparently you can pick this up for $150, which is a pretty good deal in my mind. Let's stay on the Atari bit train for now. Atari Recharged is getting a soundtrack release. Believe it or not, Microids Records and Atari have announced that they're going to do a limited edition of the Atari Recharged vinyls, and they're now available for pre-order. Boy, take a look at that sleeve and disc set. Look at the beautiful magenta, that really cool blue. Microids is, I guess they're a company out of France, and they just announced this recently. Apparently, they had really big success with the Atari 50 vinyl release, which happened earlier this year, and it sold out during its pre-order phase. I'm expecting that they think this will as well. It's going to be released on January 17th of 2025. You can get the pre-order right now. It's going to follow soundtracks for all 10 games in the Recharge collection: Asteroids, Berserk, Black Widow, Breakout, Caverns of Mars, Centipede, Gravitar, Missile Command, Quantum, and Yars. These are all great games. I've had a blast playing them. I might just pick this up for myself, unless one of you guys want to grab it for me for Christmas. Let's keep going with our Atari bit news. Apparently, Netflix has their own game streaming service called Netflix Games or Netflix Cloud Game or something like that. Anyway, they've got 12 titles, and the two newest that they just released are the Atari Recharged games for Centipede and Caverns of Mars. So the same games that are getting that digital audio album that we just talked about are apparently coming to Netflix Cloud Gaming. I guess they've got like 12 games on this service. I didn't even know this thing existed, except for I found a pinball game through Android that allows my Netflix accounts to let me play some Zen pinball games on my phone. So this completely threw me for a loop. You can see here they're talking about Caverns of Mars and Centipede Recharged and everything. We've been playing these games for quite a little while now, a year or two, I guess, at this point. But they have some other titles in their library, I guess you'd say. Something called Link Twins, which I haven't played. Oxenfree, which is an outstanding independent game. If you haven't played Oxenfree and you have Netflix, go see if you can figure out how to play this through their service. It's well worth the work. Story Warriors, Fairy Tales, and Underwater Melon Fruit Merge? Okay, all right. Well, if you're a Netflix fan or you have a Netflix account and you want to play some games, check out Netflix's cloud game service, and you can also play some Atari. Kotaku and Yahoo.com want us to know that the gaming streaming wars are here and they're for real now in the next bit up on Bit by Bit. They give us a little bit of a history of game streaming. They talk about G Cluster and OnLive, which happened in the early 2000s. They're both gone now, of course. And then in 2014, it was Sony PlayStation's Now service that really drove the ship that has become huge now. I mean, we're talking about, Steam, and we're talking about all these other platforms that are starting to offer it. Google Stadia, obviously, is there. This is a really in-depth article. It's got a good read, some good information, and it gives you a great idea of what to expect in our future of game streaming. Not just downloading games and playing them on your PC or other device, but actually streaming them from cloud servers onto any device so you don't have to worry about your hardware. That's one of the great things about this game streaming stuff. Now, the problem, though, just like we're seeing with streaming when it comes to TV and movies, these services are going to start to get big, they're going to start to get expensive, and they may become the only way we get to play games in the future. So let's watch out. And here's a quick bit from worthplaying.com. Pinball FX, one of my favorite pinball virtual platforms right now, is about to release Williams Pinball Volume 8, and they're adding Banzai Run to this set. Banzai Run is a super fun table. You can take a look at the YouTube video from their article. They've got a lot of other great games in the Pinball FX universe, of course, Jurassic World, Back to the Future, E.T. Jaws, the Star Wars tables are really awesome in there, but this Banzai Run looks to be like a really fun table. It's from Williams, so this is based on an original real pinball machine, not just one that was created specifically for the Pinball FX virtual platform. It was first released in 1988, so Gen Xers ought to be familiar with this title. You get to have all the same stuff that you remember. It's going to come with Earthshaker right now, which is also getting released in Volume 8. So this looks to be a lot of fun. You got a whole bunch of new ways to play, I guess. They play a rotating selection of free tables. Of course, that's part of their thing. The Pinball Pass, I think that's going away, though. I don't think that's staying, but maybe I'm wrong. And then you can, of course, add tables to the Pinball FX platform on a table-by-table basis. I suggest buying the packages, though, because you get a little bit better value for your money. So anyway, check out this article at worthplaying.com. Pinball FX Williams Volume 8 is getting Banzai Run. Continuing on with our next bit, GamesRadar.com has published a really great article talking about how Valve almost went bankrupt if it wasn't for the fact that they had an intern on their staff who spoke Korean. Now, I read this whole article. It's really fascinating. Definitely go check it out. But essentially, Vivendi Games and Valve were in a contentious lawsuit back in 2004 because there was some distribution going on that Vivendi was doing that Valve didn't agree with, and so they were going back and forth about who had the rights to do this, that, or the other. Well, Vivendi was much larger than Valve at the time. This was before Valve became Steam and all the other successes that they've had since then, and they've become kind of a juggernaut. Back then, they were just a small little shop trying to make their way, and Vivendi had big-time lawyers. So when Valve was asking for discovery, getting all the notes, of course, Vivendi just dumped a whole bunch of documents on them, and because the activity was happening in Korea, a lot of the documents were in Korean. Well, nobody at Valve spoke Korean or read Korean, but they happened to have this one intern who could read Korean, and he basically just found these different articles or these emails that they had found that essentially said, hey, yeah, we're going to have to destroy them. We're going to do all this stuff. It was really interesting read. Go through and check this out. Also, you'll notice right here this cool little image. There is a great 20th anniversary documentary on Half-Life 2 over on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description so you can go check that out. It's a really good watch. But yeah, just crazy to think that we wouldn't have Steam or any of the other stuff were it not for an intern being able to speak Korean and discovering that Vivendi was essentially just lying and cheating their way through what they were doing. Man, just goes to show you, you better make sure you take care of all the people that work for you so that they can take care of you. This next bit from gamesindustry.biz talks about Sam Dyer and how he is preserving video game history in these hardback books. So Sam Dyer is the man who created Bitmap books, and he's done some tremendous work. You see here Metal Slug, the Ultimate History that he's done. They go on to have just this really long but fun interview with him and why he did what he did, why he's a big fan of these games. You know, he talks about his first computer being the Commodore 64 here. It's just really interesting to see how a company gets built from the eyes of the creator who did it. He talks about how it was difficult to get funding. Commodore 64 Visual Compendium is an awesome book. I own it myself. If you're a Commodore 64 fan, you definitely need this book in your collection. Anyway, if you're interested in this kind of retro gaming history kind of collective book stuff, definitely go check out this article. It's a blast over at, where was this at? Let's see, gamesindustry.biz. Express.co.uk wants to give you a list of the top 10 video game books as Sega finally defeats Nintendo. I don't know what in the hell that has to do with anything, but these are video game books, and look at that. One of the first ones up on there is one from Bitmap Books. It'll cost you $35, but it's called The Ultimate Guide to Side-Scrolling Beat-em-Ups. I mean, Streets of Rage, River City Girls, whole bunch of other stuff is in there. I'm sure, look at Golden Axe, Sonic Blast, man. They got a lot of great stuff. We've got Atari Archive, Volume 1, 77 to 78. Who publishes this one? Let's see, it's $27. It's available on Amazon, or well, this 27 pounds, so it's about $30 or so, but it's on Amazon. That's interesting. I have to go take a look at that one. Dark Souls Beyond the Grave, if you're a fan of that franchise. I'm not. Legend of Zelda. Okay, that could be interesting. They've got quite a few. NES Endings Compendium. Okay, if you're a Nintendo NES fan, 85 until 89. Over at Amazon for around $31, $32, something like that. They got a whole bunch more. Like I said, 10 books, hardbound, I'm assuming, on retro video games. Go check it out, express.co.uk. Just a quick little bit up from creativeblock.com. There is a live version of Pac-Man with augmented reality ghosts available to play over in the UK. Now, you can pre-order your tickets right now. Look at this cool arena that they've got. It's a projection on the floor. You run around. Look, they got stands up there. I can't tell. Is that little ghosts or Pac-Man or something that stands? You got all these cool people. Look at the ghosts in the maze chasing you around. This looks to be awesome. If I lived over in Manchester where this thing is happening, I would absolutely be buying tickets. It's going to open up on March 22nd of next year in order to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Pac-Man. It's just look at these guys. They're okay. I don't know what this guy's doing with his hands right there, but yeah. I think it would still be a lot of fun. I don't know how well I would hold up. I'd probably last about 2.5 minutes before I passed out on the floor, but you can apparently buy the tickets. They go on sale. They actually went on sale November 21st, so they're available right now. Go check out pacmanlive.co.uk to get your tickets, or head over to creativeblock.com to check out the article all about the game. And our final bit of news today from the BBC is talking about the ZX Spectrum and how it became a 1980s icon. Now, you guys know the ZX Spectrum is hot news right now. They just released the new box that John is playing for. I'll try to remember to put a little card up here in the corner that you guys can click on and go watch that video. It's done tremendously well for us because this ZX Spectrum was way more popular than John and I realized. We're over here across the pond in the U.S. We know this is a UK favorite. This article goes into great detail on not only how the system was created, but the man who created it, Sir Clive Sinclair. Over here, we know about the Timex Sinclair, I think it was, that we had over here in the U.S. more than the ZX Spectrum. I guess it was a really affordable model, 175 pounds for the 48K, 125 pounds for the 16K version back in 1982, I guess is when this released. I can't wait to hear from some of you guys watching this to tell me more about this. I guess the biggest differentiator between my Commodore 64 and your ZX Spectrum was that most of my stuff came on floppy disk and most of your stuff came on tapes. And I know that in reading this article and in talking with some people, how a lot of people who were on the ZX Spectrum side feel like the tape distribution method was far more favorable to creativity and competition than the floppy disks were on my side of the pond. I don't know, but I do know I want to play some of these games. John has one of these. You can go check out his video. Like I said, hopefully I've already put the little icon up in the corner for you guys to play. But here's Manic Miner. I guess that was one of the most popular games. Okay, obviously the graphics aren't as good as something that's came out later like an Amiga or whatnot, but compared to a Commodore 64, I would have enjoyed the crap out of this, and I'm so happy that a lot of people really love this over in the UK. I'm hoping that now that this device is being released here in the US with this new form factor and everything, although it kind of looks like it's 1-to-1 ratio, I'm hoping that people in America will also fall in love with the ZX Spectrum. If you want to learn more about it, head over to the bbc.com and check out this great article. It really dives into some great history and gives you a lot of information that's well worth your read. That's going to do it for the news making headlines in the gaming world right now. I am George, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button, and I'll keep on bringing you the news bit by bit.